Hi everyone, today our topic is a comparison of holistic analytic and marking models in speaking assessment. The content presented by Jiayi Shang, Huixi Lin, Ming Guan. Our outline has 6 parts: introduction, the framework of marking models, methodology, results, interpretations, and conclusion. This is the first part, the introduction. Let me introduce the background. This study examines the impact of 3 different marking models. The approaches used for assigning ratings to performances on candidate scores in the context of a semi-direct online speaking test. The test was originally developed to be part of Cambridge Assessment English Placement Test, used to a quick measure of candidates' ability to speak in a variety of general everyday contexts. It elicits a range of language features and functions through 4 task types. You can see the content in the handout Appendix A. There are 4 criteria in the test: coherence and discourse management, language resource, pronunciation, hesitation, and extent. This score is based on a 6-level rating scale covering level A1 to C2 on the Common European Framework of Reference. You can see that on Appendix B. The second part is a framework of marking models. In the following sections, I will discuss these 3 marking models in more detail. This is holistic marking models. The main strength of holistic scoring is practicality. Limitation to the holistic approach, including limited transparency in the relative weighting of features. The potential for raters to focus predominantly on what candidates can do well rather than on areas of weakness. Holistic scoring claims that different performance features develop at the same rate, which is questionable from a second language acquisition point of view. This is analytic marking model. A strength of analytic marking model is that a multidimensional scale allows for a more systematic evaluation process. It also potentially increases reliability. Multidimensional scale reflects the complex nature of language and is more satisfied with theoretical model of cognitive language ability. Analytic scoring can reveal different in strengths and weakness of learners' performances. It can also offer diagnostic information to inform individual learner paths through observation collection, since greater reliability can be achieved through multiple observations. The analytic marking model also has limitations. In 2009, Lee suggests that analytic scores may be psychometrically redundant. Another limitation is that increased cognitive dimension on raters and the need for reserve rather training, difficulties in precious defining scoring criteria. If a single score cannot accurately represent learners' language ability, part marking models can score different parts. Similar to the analytic marking model, the collection of multiple marks has a potential to enhance reliability. Another advantage is that ratings can be awarded by a single rater or by multiple raters, each scoring different parts of a candidate's performance. A limitation is the short language samples, which may not provide enough language for valid and reliable evaluation. The research question of this study is that how do marking models under examinations impact candidate scores and CEFR classifications? Second, comparing measurement properties of these marking models. The value of the study is to evaluate the theoretical assumptions to differences between marking models can influence performance scores. My team member Hui Qilin will present the next part, methodology.
Part 3. Methodology. Participants. All readers were L1 speakers of English, had over 5 years experience teaching ESL/EFL, and were trained for a number of different Cambridge Assessment English speaking tests. Procedure. This was a two-phase study comprising quantitative score data and qualitative reader comments. In the first phase, our speaking test's operational holistic marking model would be compared to part marking model. Subject to empirical evidence, the stronger model in terms of measurement properties will be compared to our second alternative marking model in the subsequent phase. In phase 1, we compared the holistic and part marking models. Phase 1 focused on a comparison of holistic and part marking models. Our rating metric was designed to ensure the following: that each speaking test was marked holistically and by part, that there was a link between marking models with each rater marking the same candidate's performances using part and holistic marking models, and that there was a link between raters through a common batch of performances. Part marking model was selected for phase 2. On the basis of phase 1 results, phase 2 focused on a comparison of the part and analytic marking models. Phase 2 was informed by the results of phase 1 and focused on a comparison of part and analytic marking models. Data collection for phase 2 closely followed phase 1 procedures, with marking model as the main difference. Upon completion of each phase of marking, readers were invited to provide open comments to a short questionnaire on their experiences and ways of applying each pair of marking models. The questionnaire focused on readers' preferences regarding marking models, ease of marking in each model, and the feasibility of part or analytic marking in operational conditions. The table shows the breakdown of CEFR levels by dataset according to operational holistic ratings. The distribution of the sample data set was designed to closely approximate that of the test population at the time of research. The assessment scale is a 6-level holistic scale covering 4 criteria: coherence and discourse management, language resources, pronunciation, hesitation and extent. Data analysis. Scores awarded by readers were analyzed using MFRM with phases. Importantly, candidates' ability are estimated independently of the particular reader or task assigned to them, with their raw scores. Readers' open comments were analyzed for common themes and insights that could further inform the study's qualitative findings, and readers' comments are qualitative data. Part 4. Results of analysis. Phase 1 findings. Amongst the 2 marking models under examination, we argue that there is a case to be made for adopting the part marking model given its enhanced measurement properties in reliably distinguishing between candidates from different ability levels and separating them. Qualitative support for the part marking model derives from readers' expressed preferences for this model in allowing more reliable and fair assessment of candidates. Our findings from phase 2 suggest that both part and analytic marking models exhibited precision in measurement. However, a slight advantage for the part marking model on 3 grounds. It allowed for finer distinctions between candidates. Raters showed higher consistency, and the percentage of unexpected responses were lower. A comparison of all marking models. We can therefore conclude that, in general, marking models display a uniform level of difficulty across candidates. However, for a small percentage of the candidates, there is evidence of bias. The following parts should be illustrated by Guanming.
Interpretation results. The results of two phases have strong evidence to show that a significant impact of choosing marking models from phase 1 to phase 2, 30 and 50% candidates are respectively received different CEFR levels in choosing different marking models. According to these findings, there are two trends in the direction of these differences. Firstly, study finds that holistic marking model often gives higher overall scores. Secondly, the trend of lower scores is also observed in part marking model. From the measurement perspective, all marking models have strong connections. The first strong correlation can be found in both part marking model and holistic marking model. Within these two marking models, there are no significant differences in means and candidate rankings, which because they have a similar construct. Part marking model focuses on individual test part, while holistic marking model is for the whole test. So that is why part marking models has more information about candidates' performances, which can increase the measurement precision of the final result. The second phase also shows a strong connection between part marking model and analytic marking model. Unlike holistic marking model, although both part and analytic models focus on the individual feature of candidates' performance, analytic model pay more attention to the explicit linguistic items like fluency and grammar. However, part marking model receive more support from raters, although both of the two models are practically feasible. So, why part marking model? Let's summarize briefly. First, it allows more measurement precision. Second, it can provide more diagnostic information. Third, it provides more opportunities for candidates to perform themselves. Fourth, it is feasible in currently operational setting. Lastly, it has the practical benefit like the possibility of implementation within a short time frame. Paper conclusion. Findings illustrate that the choice of marking models has significant influence in the classification of candidates' professional levels, so it is essential to consider the validity and justify in choosing the models of marking. One of the implications is that readers show highly sensitive about the results of part marking model. However, the downside of the part marking model is that it does not reflect explicit items of language like fluency and grammar. According to this situation, one suggestion is about adopting a holistic by part marking model. Another implication is that when developing the choice of marking models, it relies on the human rewarded marks. So it is important to make the human markers be transparent. Suggestion for the further research. First, consideration about mixing the marking models to resolve the limitation of part marking model. Second, the wide use of automated scoring technologies might be the future, in assessment of speaking tests. An automarker can focus on the explicit linguistic items like fluency and pronunciation, so that human readers would be able to focus on the more complex factors. Finally, moving to limitation, there are three main limitations in our study. First, the number of readers was small, which could influence the analysis of the results. Second, the analytic scale is not used independently. Third, there are differences between CEFR classification in the operational data and those observed across the three marking models. That is our references.